Hello folks, this is Les Goldstein from Personal Financial Strategies Incorporated in Chile, Park Ridge, Illinois, with our December 2014 monthly educational economic update. In this month's video, we'll discuss some of the economic events that occurred last month to give you some insight into what they mean for you as an investor. Please stay tuned at the end of this video for a required disclosure statement. December was a fickle month for markets that forced investors to weigh positive domestic fundamentals against fresh worries from abroad. Let's take a look at what happened in the month of December. Falling oil prices caused a lot of market uncertainty as investors grappled with what low prices mean for the economy. Since recent highs in June of 2014, oil prices have fallen nearly 50%. While cheap oil and gasoline are great for American consumers who have more money in their wallets, it's bad news for oil producers. Countries like Russia and Saudi Arabia depend on oil revenues to balance their budgets. American producers need higher oil prices to make oil projects economically feasible. If prices stay too low for too long, it could destabilize many petroleum-based economies and businesses and shut down some U.S. oil-based projects. Holiday shopping in November kicked off, and despite a rocky Black Friday weekend, retailers hope that cheap gas and an improving labor market will boost sales. Sales between November and December are projected to grow 4.1%, which is the biggest increase since 2011. On the other hand, many stores offered large discounts to lure shoppers, which may cut into their profit margins. The Commerce Department released another revised estimate of gross domestic product for the year 2014, showing that the economy grew at a whopping 5% rate in the third quarter. This is the fastest growth seen since 2003. Even better, the biggest revision was in personal consumption, which is the most important driver of overall economic growth. Now the question is, how much of that juice will be carried into future quarters? It's too soon to say for sure, but we hope that cheaper gas and a better job situation boosted the economy in the fourth quarter of 2014. Overall, 2014 was a good year for the U.S. economy. As the recovery moved into its fifth year, we finally regained all of the jobs lost in the recession, and Americans started believing in the economy once again. Looking ahead, it's important to be cautious about the financial markets in the coming weeks. Despite periods of volatility, markets did well in 2014, and a pullback is possible. Fundamentals, however, are solid, and we expect positive consumer sentiment and an improving labor market to contribute to gains in 2015. On the other hand, significant uncertainty remains about how weakening global demand, low oil prices, and interest rate hikes will affect the U.S. economy. As always, we recommend focusing on your own investment strategies and personal financial plan that we've helped build for you, while allowing us to keep an eye on ever-changing market conditions. I hope you've enjoyed watching our economic updates for this year. We look forward to a healthy, happy, and prosperous 2015 together. That's it for this December 2014 economic update. If you have any questions or concerns, please call our office at 847-268-3670 and speak with myself, Les Goldstein, Robert Hart, VP of Personal Financial Strategies, or Yvonne Haverline. Once again, this is Les Goldstein of PFS, signing off for the month of 2014, December. If you have any questions about what I just shared with you in this video, or you'd like to discuss your personal financial situation, please give us a call at the office, 847-268-3670. I am extension 102, and we will be happy to talk to you. Now for our required disclosure. While we believe the information in this report is reliable and accurate, we cannot guarantee its accuracy. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or the solicitation for the purchase of or sale of any investment security. Please consult us, your financial advisory team, before making any investment decision. Thank you.